myself, I'm going through a transition, as y'all all know. I'm newly, basically, I don't like to say single. I am single. I'm healing, and I'm opening myself to someone myself. And I want to speak about that before I get started. And I guess it'll just flow. I like to let it flow. My lives, I like to let it flow. But I've been doing a lot of, past couple days I've been doing, I know you haven't seen me live, I've been doing a lot of healing work on myself, on my mind. And I noticed some things. And you know, like I said, my life is constantly changing, evolving as I apply my own knowledge. As I apply my own knowledge to my life is constantly changing and evolving. So if you see me, you might be like, oh my God, this guy's confused. He's unstable. He's undysfunctional. Well, life will make you seem like that when you're in a constant learning, constant growing. It'll make you seem like you're just unstable, like you're going from one thing to another. So recently I had let my wives go, and you know, I seen that they were more fit with somebody else. And I'm now by myself, and in the process of that, I did that because I felt like I was doing polygamy wrong, in a sense, and I learned from my mistakes through my experience. Like I told you, I've been applying the knowledge to my life, so that's the best way to learn. And the master has failed more than the student can ever even imagine succeeding. So if you ain't out here learning, if you ain't out here applying that knowledge to yourself, straight up failing, then yeah, you're not going to become the master and get no real wisdom, because a lot of us is just trying to conceptualize things that are supposed to be experienced. And so, you know, it's good to get out here and apply that knowledge, especially in the information age where we have all this knowledge. So right now, I decided to start fresh, start new, and I evaluated myself and my actions. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm starting over. So we had a big meeting, you know, I let IYAH and RAMBO go. As you know, Eliana left with my daughter, and then I just decided to start over with my building of polygamy. I feel like I did it wrong. The truth about the matter is, I have some weaknesses in my chart. The truth about the matter is, I have commitment issues, right? What that means is, I've been hurt a lot in my life by women, and I've had to evaluate that myself and look at it and accept the fact that, you know, I'm scared. I'm scared to get my heart broke, because every time when I was younger, when I was dealing with a woman, I opened my heart completely, and I was like just completely, you know, open and vulnerable, and I was hurt a couple of times, and it turned me into someone that used, you know, being with a lot of women as a way to protect myself from being hurt, being vulnerable in a relationship. So I realized I've been abusing polygamy, right, and using it as a scapegoat to face my inner vulnerabilities, and so this is why I let it go right now. And now I'm just opening up to the universe to send me in a monogamous relationship. And I say this because I'm still polygamous by nature, but I don't think that you can be polygamous truly without being committed and open and vulnerable into a monogamous relationship first. So I realized this, that in practicing it the wrong way, I realized how to do it the right way. And basically, you have to be with that first wife monogamously, completely committed, without any, you know, when I get scared in a relationship, I tend to start making myself available to other women. And I had used that as polygamy. And it wasn't until, you know, recently that I realized my own flaw and my own mistake, and I was like, wow, like, I'm using this shit as an scapegoat from running from myself and being vulnerable in a relationship. You see, when I was with Eliana, I wasn't fulfilled because she was a little younger than me, and I felt like she wasn't, like, maybe woman enough for me. And so I used that, and women before her, you know what I'm saying, I've always I use polygamy as that way, when the truth is no polygamous relationship could ever be successful without a successful monogamous one first. And I learned that the hard way. A lot of y'all probably already knew that. Y'all probably like, nigga, you stupid. I am stupid. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. If you're trying to be polygamous, please do it the right way and be totally monogamous with one woman first. Make sure that that woman is okay with polygamy, but also know that you have to establish that business first. Make sure that you establish, because I look at it as a business. Your relationship is a business. And so when you have a business, sometimes you have to give your all to one business and make sure it's complete first before you open up another one. You know what I'm saying? So the key to true successful polygamy is monogamy. So if you want to be polygamous, you must first learn how to totally commit to one partner. And so that's a very important step that I had misconstrued. And so what happened is I'm now by myself, and I'm opening myself to vulnerably get involved in a monogamous relationship with someone that may come along that's compatible with me and what I'm trying to do. And just for like maybe a year, you know, like really go into a monogamous relationship completely and really work on my running. Every time I see something I don't like, I run. When I should open up for communication, I'm scared to be vulnerable with my emotions. So I just shut down and I start opening myself up to other women. And then from there, I said I'm polygamous. So I got all these women there, and there's no one I'm really connecting to deeply. And so IYAH is with Tron again. I know you think that we passing people around. That's okay. Rise with Solar, and they got their own journeys. You know what I'm saying? And I'm with me, and you probably looking at my life like, oh shit, y'all ain't stable. Y'all dysfunctional. That's how you see it. That's how you see it. It's my life. I gotta live it. But I hope to inspire those that are actually watching and can take something from this. Those of you can't, I apologize. You can laugh. You can laugh at me. If I make you laugh, at least I did something. So now, you know, I decided to open myself for, you know, monogamy first. But I'm definitely polygamous still. It's just that I want to establish that deep bond with someone first. Then we can invite or allow more energy in. But for like at least a long time, just be with one person. And I'm really a romantic person. That's another thing I missed. I miss being romantic because I'm like a really R&B ass thug, you know what I'm saying, type nigga. So I really am, you know, that kind of a dude, and I was neglecting myself because of my fears of opening up myself emotionally to someone. Because every time I dealt with a woman, as soon as I see that she not what I want, I started opening myself to other women. And I attract a lot of women, so the options were there. So I had a lot of women, but I was not emotionally connected to them. And so with that being stated, the next time I realized that I may be not a good fit with that woman, I either let her go or I would dive in deeply into my emotions and talk to her about what I don't like, and maybe we can make a compromise and go into it deeply. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm opening myself from the universe now. I'm ready for that. So I'm opening myself for that, and I'm ready for healing, for my own journey. If you're watching, it inspires you, that's good for you. But commitment, man. Commitment. It's hard. My Mars is in Libra in the 11th house. You know, nigga got that community dick. Shout out to all the or everybody watching out there that's a Libra, Mars in Libra, and 11th house. But my Venus is in Pisces. You know, my Venus is in Pisces in the 4th house. So I have this, you know, general love, and I'm big on communication. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing for me that's scary. Women that are subjective, I attract, you know, subjective women to me, but I'm a very objective thinker, And so that scares me when women show to be unstable and not be able to communicate through their emotions. That always makes me start looking for another woman. And that's not right. I should just leave that woman alone completely and cut all ties rather than drag her along, play them games with her because, you know, and I used polygamy as a scapegoat into my fears. And, yeah, I've learned from that. I'm not a Libra, I'm a Taurus. My Mars is in Libra. I'm a Taurus with a Leo moon. I'm a Taurus 6th house with Leo moon in the 9th. So, yeah, you know, after being hurt in my earlier relationships, I therefore knew and I adapted to not get hurt no more. And it was like basically cutting myself off emotionally so that I won't get hurt no more. And that's not the way. All y'all fellas out there, as you mature, you will realize that ain't the way. And you probably are still polygamous, and don't get it twisted like a mango mystic. It's just that you need to first develop that first relationship with that woman very deeply. And I think relationships, especially for me, have been a catalyst for my spiritual growth. And so yeah, that's been that. And I'm starting this new journey by myself. And every day I've been by myself and just healing and thinking about all the mistakes that I made in relationships and people I might have hurt. And if I hurt anybody out there, just know that I'm growing and I apologize. It wasn't intentional. I didn't even know within myself that I was doing it. Yeah. So, hey, I got a battery? So yeah, moving forward through the transition, I've learned, I've been crying, I've been vulnerable, really like tapping into my emotional body and just really crying, man. Crying is therapeutic too, man. You gotta cry to let it out, man, because sometimes you got stuff pent in into your body. It's like muscle memory type shit. And just being alone and crying and going into your mind and healing certain circumstances and running through them. And just, you know, I use wine. I'll drink some wine and play some music. And music takes me back to certain memories and things that I've done and how I might have handled it wrong. And I forgive myself. I replay the circumstances. And the alcohol really opens up my chakras and allows me to, you know, sit with myself and deal with myself spiritually and cry. Come out of that circumstance healed and know that I did what I did wrong and then accept the fact that I didn't know and forgive myself and forgive those that hurt me as well. So it's really been a transitional for me these past 3 days. I know you haven't seen me on live. People are like, Chief, go live. I'm like, nah, I'm just not in the mood. I'm healing. And so now I'm just basically opening myself to, you know, to opening myself to being vulnerable and entering a relationship emotionally open, communicating, commitment, and consistency. 3 C's. Yeah. So if you're trying to be polygamous, just know you need to really enter a monogamous relationship very deeply with the understanding with your partner or your companion that you are eventually going to want to go into polygamy. Make sure they know that. And, yeah. So no one's hurt about that at the end, you know. Shout out to everybody in the building that's going through transitions. Like I said, that Pluto ain't no joke. And I'm telling you, the quicker you're able to adapt to change, and I learned that on this journey, right? That if you resist it because you have your own expectations, it's going to be painful. But if you open yourself for change and you face your fears and you face yourself, it's the worst thing to be alone and face yourself. And been pretty scary, you know. But I want to make sure that I'm emotionally ready and prepared as far as a frequency match for something that's going to be healthy for me. I'm tired of entering these broken relationships, and I want something right so I can get it right. If you can find that first wife or that first husband, that is, and for me, marriage is frequency. You know, true marriage to me is when two minds become one, two bodies become one. People think that marriage is when you put your slave name together in the system, and that's a sort of a marriage, but that's not too much marriage to me. Marriage is when two minds become one, two bodies become one, and, you know, you become one being. You know, two minds become one being under a knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely would have to be with somebody that's in the knowledge, right? Is in the knowledge that my journey. And, you know, shout out to all the people out there that have made investments, emotional investments, right? With people that haven't given you your return, and you feel hurt by that, and you lashing out in anger. Remember, behind all anger is hurt. Don't lash out in anger. Anger is not the answer. Behind all anger is hurt. Remember that. Behind all hurt is a misunderstanding. So instead of expressing the hurt, instead of expressing the anger, acknowledge the hurt. A lot of times we get angry and we impulsively lash out in anger, and I'm one to do that. But we must realize that behind all anger is just truly hurt. And if we can address the hurt maturely, look, I'm hurt. My feelings is hurt. We don't like to be vulnerable because the world has turned us into robots and tough guys, and made us build ourselves around pride, what we call ego, right? And the ego protects the inner child, and so the inner child will be protected by our ego or our pride. Our pride, we always dealing with each other's pride instead of dealing with each other's inner child. And so we protect our inner child with our pride and with our, what you would call the ego, our personalities. We have created alter egos to play games and manipulate, to get things the way we want them to be instead of being authentic. When we were children, we were just pure subconscious. And then somewhere along the line, we were hurt, and we learned how to manipulate and create a character that we can put forward as an alter ego to get what we want. But you never really truly get what you want until you become totally vulnerable and open, and then learn how to adjust your ego so that it can articulate your inner child without lashing out. So the ego must evolve as well. The ego must become a higher self, which is someone more mature that can actually express their pains of the inner child. The inner child is, everyone has an inner child, and we're all children, and it's a very vulnerable place we don't like to tap into, especially as we become men. In the society, we're told to be macho, and we can't cry, we can't tap into vulnerability, and it makes us shallow, cut off from our own emotional selves. It makes us disconnected from the all. But the more we become connected, the more intelligent we become truly, the more powerful we truly become. The more you're able to control your own self and your own emotions, the more you're able to help others control themselves. And so my test has been to become vulnerable. And I get in circumstances where, and you might be in circumstances with the most toxic people, and you keep attracting toxic people because the universe is trying to take you to your core. It wants to take you to your core. If we stop pointing the finger and look at what the person is invoking in you, then we can grow. And you're going to continue to attract toxic people in your life because those are the kind of people that take you to your core, right? This is what you need. It's what you need. And you need these toxic people so they can get you right where you need to be to look at what you need to work on in yourself. So as long as we point the finger, you're missing the point. So when the toxic person brings you to that place, we have to be able to sit and be like, damn, I'm out of control. I'm angry. I'm not communicating my inner feelings and my emotions. I'm just straight up lashing out just like the other person. I'm getting on their level. We have to stop getting on people's level and really start to take responsibility for what we've doing and not what the other person did to you, right? Because it's all about your self-growth. And a lot of times we can get caught up in blaming others, and that is a way of we hiding from our own vulnerability and our own lessons in life. So we get these lessons over and over. I just, want to let you know that you're going to attract people that's going to hurt you. You're going to continue to attract that until you learn how to tap into your most vulnerable self and love yourself enough to see the signs and get rid of these people early, because you always see the signs early when you have toxic people in your life and you always ignore it. But you got to stop ignoring it when you see the signs. You have to love yourself enough to be like, you know what? I'm not going to get in this level with you. I deserve better than this, and not get there. And a lot of times the most mature people, the most honorable people, you attract the worst people, because we get so caught up in our honor, we forget that we need to grow. And so we attract the most toxic people in our lives to take us to our core, past our big old ego, right? Our big ego, that we self-righteous. And this person knocks all that off and gets you right into your lower self. And then once you're in your lower self, you're like, damn, how did I get here? This person took me there. Exactly. The universe is using them as a catalyst to show you what you need to work on deep in yourself. And every one of us need to get to a point of vulnerability. Vulnerability, the inner child, is the most scary shit ever, because it's what's really going on in your heart. And we've really built this wall around our true emotions and our true hearts because of the fact that the world is fucked up and people be hurting you. When you're young, you get hurt and you get traumatized, and you build a wall. And we have to learn that we're going to continue to attract toxic relationships, situationships, because those are the best relationships to get us to the most ugliest stuff in us that we need to work on. So be grateful for toxic people. Be grateful for toxic relationships. Shout out to everybody who's in a toxic relationship right now. Try to use it. Try to look at what you're doing, like use it, like challenge yourself. Like instead of pointing the finger next time, challenge yourself. Yes, you're in a fucked up relationship with someone that's immature, that don't know how to fucking communicate. But are you getting on a level? Are you able to remain through their temper tantrums, through their immaturity? Are you able to remain solid? This is when you know you started to grow. When you're able to control yourself, because you need someone that's going to invoke you to see if you're going to be able to control yourself. So the universe will send you a fuck boy or a fuck girl, you know what I'm saying? Some fuck nigga. It has to be that way to show you how much you grew. And when you know how to remain cool, calm, and collective in a toxic relationship, you leveling the fuck up. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to all the people. Pat yourself on the shoulder. You kept your composure. You kept your frequency, and you didn't let them bring you down to theirs. You almost, you know, it take practice. You're going to snap sometime. It's okay to fail. You're going to go low. You're going to snap out sometime, and that shit going to feel good to get on their level and give them a little piece of their medicine. But you can't keep doing that. You got to learn how to maintain and be able to face them without immaturity. Once you reach that level, now you'll see that the more you stay on your frequency and they stay on theirs, they're going to wind up propelling from you. And then the relationship's going to come to an end because you've learned your lesson. The person's going to leave. They can't match your frequency no more. They can't get you to match their frequencies no more. So they're going to repulse from you magnetically. And they're going to find a perfect match or a person perfectly matched for them to do that shit with, or to get them on their level. and then you won. And in order to get to this level, you must start to become vulnerable in yourself. Knowing what you truly feel, tapping into your body and using wine, liquor, or spirits, what they call it, using wine as a way of cleaning your chakras. People don't know that wine is a spiritual nectar. Organic wine is a spiritual nectar that allows you to open up your chakras. If you've ever been to a club, you know what I'm talking about. When people are drinking, they become open. The chakras open. The energy starts flowing. Anything that's in there, they might not be a talker, but now the throat chakras open, and they're just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And we're using it. We're using, wine and alcohol for the wrong reason. It was for spiritual healing. So basically, when the spirits opened up, which is the chakras, when they opened up, it would allow you to talk, be vulnerable, come out. People were very vulnerable when they're on alcohol, and this was supposed to be used for a good thing, not to get drunk, but to get open. And then when you're open, heal in that moment. People cry, people become vulnerable. You can use the wine spiritually. It's a spiritual nectar. And they open up and they start talking about it. And this is the only way it gets out. But we're not using alcohol the right way. I mean, we start talking, but we never get to a solution. There's no one there to truly listen to you and let's resolve the issue. So you might open up about something and talk about it, but it's a loose end. There's no resolution to it. There's no answer to the problems. So we're just walking around with all of these untied issues. I mean, like loose ends on the issues. And we're walking around and we're hurting each other. Hurt people, right? We're attracting we only can attract the people that's going to come into our life, right? And hurt us enough for us to grow, right? So you're going to continue to get those relationships until you're willing to open up vulnerably and go inside of yourself and stop pointing the finger. Remember, stop pointing the finger. When you drink your wine, make it a spiritual thing. Put your music on. You could dance. You could do all of that, but make sure you try to have a group and you try to talk out your issues. Make it into talking out your issues and letting out and coming to resolutions and things that you could do about those things. Because in that vulnerable state, you want to make sure that you have people around you that you can trust, but you also want to make sure you're around people that you can talk to and get a resolution with. Don't leave things unsettled inside of you. So, that's what I've been doing the last 3 days, is drinking my wine and playing music, which invokes spirits. Certain things have memory in it. Might be an ex that you haven't really healed from. And, you just go into it. So many people have had breakups that had no closure to those relationships. And they take that hurt and they just really move on with it without really talking to them. So if you do have a friend, you can do this with your friends and just have a spiritual session with wine. You know what I'm saying? And don't drink to get drunk. Know your limit. And we'll open up, play some soft music, and watch what happens. People just start to open up because this opens up the spirits, opens up the chakras. Throat chakra open up. Somebody that's always quiet starts to talk to you. People want to dance because the energy's moving. It's not thinking. It becomes open. You know what I'm saying? So you probably experienced going to the club one day, right? And in the beginning of the club, the DJ played one set of music and no one's dancing. They're all getting drinks. And then about 2-3 hours later, the DJ played the same music and it sounds different. Motherfuckers is out there dancing. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, damn, y'all niggas out here really dancing. And it's good to listen to emotional songs. Don't run from your emotions, address them. That's what I've been doing to learn to heal through the moment. And you become a very powerful and a strong person. The more vulnerable you are. So fellas, another thing I learned about an alpha is a leader. And the alpha is not the toughest guy, but the most vulnerable guy. This is what I'm learning. My journey, I realized the most vulnerable, the one with the biggest heart, is able to be the greatest leader. Because you can't relate to people, you can't lead people. You have to be able to relate to people to be a great leader. And if you can't connect to their emotions, then you're not going to be able to be a great leader. So the alpha is someone that is the most vulnerable, the most compassionate, empathetic. The true alpha is empathetic and compassionate. So I had to learn that it's not the toughest guy, but the most vulnerable guy, the most understanding and compassionate, because when you're leading people, you have to understand them. To really be effective, you have to understand them. Okay? And so that, yeah, Mary J, Mary J, she'll get you there. Mary J will get you there. That's my girl right there. So yeah. And also learn to spend time alone. Learn how to love yourself and love your own company. We need to learn how to do that. That was really difficult for me. But I want companionship. We all want companionship. Rather have companionship because it's better to talk to somebody, to get a reflection of yourself. You know what I'm saying? A reaction from someone else, from your energy. And a lot of us, we're learning who we are through our relationships, right? It invokes different spirits in us. But moving on, I wanted to say that, give you those announcements. So I'm going to close this video out. You see my energy's a little calm today. I'm in this mountain. I'm connected to these trees out here and the fog and the rain and just settling into me and healing, man. Healing my generational curses and studying myself and my mistakes and my flaws. You need to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself. You got to, right? And a lot of crying. You could probably feel that I'm open right now. My heart chakra is like wide open because I've been crying a lot. I've been healing. And the reason why I said crying, because crying is an overload of energy and it comes out your face. So water is energy. So sometimes when you're dealing with emotions or traumas, that energy will come up and come out your face. Nose be all snotty, crying. You be on the ground like real shit, like real crying, like real vulnerable type in a ball, stomach, heart in your stomach, really getting it all out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get it out. All the hurt and all the pain gotta go. It can't stay in there or you're gonna hurt someone else. So love yourself enough to heal yourself. I'm about to do the readings. Y'all come back in the next room, okay? Peace to the gods. I love myself.